What is happening, everybody? Welcome back to today's episode of Why Did I Buy a Mini Truck? As you can see, we got parts kind of scattered all over the place, and that is because we have been getting down on this front end here. So we got the whole front end stripped, which is great. We have the brake booster off, both the clutch and the brake master cylinder. All the lines are off. All the suspension, all of the steering, everything is ready to go. So what we're going to do is spray down the frame rails and the firewall with a little purple power. I'm going to come in here, I'm going to scrub them down by hand, make sure it looks good. And then what we're going to do is we're going to come through and we're going to fine tune a lot of this stuff. So like here, there's a little weird gap thing. I might try to fold this over, tack it down. I was hoping to have the bay painted by Sunday. However, I ordered seam sealer, and that stuff's not going to be here for a few days. So we're going to just wait until next weekend. But that's fine. It'll give me plenty of time to prep the bay. I already got all that plastic trim and brackets off of these two portions of the inner fenders. And we're going to be going ahead and drilling out the rest of what's left of the front radiator support while this stuff kind of soaks. Couple things I found that I wasn't super duper stoked about. They're not huge deals, but they are kind of like minor inconveniences. Like my brake booster is shot because my brake master cylinder was leaking all inside of it. Pretty unfortunate, but I had a sneaking suspicion that that stuff was kind of on its way out, just the way the thing drove when we got it. Granted, we haven't been doing much driving now, but that is because it is currently work in progress. We got some interior bits over here. We got a bring, hood and fenders. We gotta go to the other shop. And if we look down in here, you can see what I'm talking about. So that is definitely not good. And then this brake caliper is actually leaking from the seal around the piston. So I'm not super stoked about that. I wasn't really planning on doing anything with the brakes, but now that I see that, we're going to have to go ahead and get in there and get that fixed. So all this stuff is taken apart now. With the dust shield, I did encounter one bolt, I think, on this side and another one on the other, or two on the other side that stripped out. So went ahead and drilled them out. We're going to go ahead and tap those so they're good to go. We're going to clean up all of this stuff right here, make sure it looks good. So on here, there's a couple things I want to work on. So it looks like somebody added this little plate, this extension. Well, when you air all the way up, it acts as a bump stop and the upper control arm actually hits it. So what we're going to do is we're going to kind of shave it down a little bit, and then we're going to clean up those welds that are there, make sure there's no sharp points, and make sure it looks good. But honestly, I'm on the fence about just scrapping the whole thing on this side and just welding up new bag mounts. We also do need to cut this shock mount here off and the other one that broke or got cut over here. There's also a location on that lower control arm where it looks like somebody had a shock bolt welded on each side. So one broke and then the other one over here broke. So we got to get that all fixed up. The hubs look kind of like poop. Not a huge deal. We're going to be cleaning them up. I already did the wheel studs and cleaned one of the hubs up on the other side, and I'll show you guys here in a minute. But yeah, it's kind of a shame, but all stuff we're going to replace anyway, so I don't think it really matters a whole lot. Our main focus right now is just to clean all this up. I'm going to be hitting it all with a wire wheel all the way up to the glass pretty much, and getting it ready for a coat of primer. And then we went ahead and got all the lines out and just kind of like let the fuel lines hang there. There's also the junction for the rear brakes right there. I'm not super worried about those because I think we're going to end up running all new brake lines all the way to the back. And I think as far as the fuel lines go, since we are going to be end up running a fuel cell, I think that we are going to just do AN lines. I don't know. I'm thinking about seeing if these fuel lines are good, I'm going to flush them out, and if I see anything crazy coming out of them, we will just make new ones, or we will just run an AN line all the way up to the front. Does not really matter either way. Good news is you can pull both the booster, the master cylinder, and the clutch master cylinder with the way that these tubs are set up, so that was really cool. I wasn't really too worried about it because we did cut this large relief here. I know it looks kind of janky because it is just an L, but that's all it really needs to be, right? I was able to move this whole thing out, take it out no problem, so it was awesome. Now, show you guys that hub that I cleaned up a little bit and got some new wheel studs on. Looks like somebody tried to grind it down at one point, because there's no way a wire wheel would do that kind of stuff, but it looks like somebody tried to grind it down to, I don't know, maybe fit another kind of wheel with a smaller center bore. Not 100% sure. Not like super concerning, but kind of like a little bit concerning. I think what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to take one of the wheels and I'm going to fit the hub up to it and just see where the hub sits in the bore of the wheel. I'm really hoping that it's along these grooves and not like on top of this poorly trimmed, cut, shaved down kind of thing. So that's something we'll address later. Let's see. I ordered a triangulation kit. So I originally was going to leave the torsion bar set up in the front because this thing lays frame as it is. When I was taking that stuff apart, I found like a stack of washers like this big in between the bolts and the lower control arm, which wasn't like super duper concerning. And then I found like some shims, like some old alignment shims on the upper control arms, and so I'm not super concerned about all that stuff. We're going to dial this in as far as the alignment goes. But the torsion bars in the front, where they mount up here, is like paper thin, like so thin that as I was unbolting them from the lower control arms, they fell out of the front of where they're supposed to unbolt. So we are just going to like clean that up. Maybe I'll weld some plates there. And we are going to just run a triangulation kit. It was something I was kind of holding off on temporarily, but we're going to do it now. So we need to cut off these old, let me get some light in here. These ones that were on here before, I did not put these on. These were on here, and I don't think that they're going to work for the new ones. So we are just going to lop those off. We're going to clean all this up too. You see the plate that they welded? We're going to just kind of make it look a little bit better, clean it up, and maybe just cut off that extension altogether, clean up the holes where the airline runs through, and just, you know, I don't know. We'll see how clean we can get them. If we can't get them nice, we're just going to cut those off and weld new bag mounts. Like, who cares, right? We'll just do it. It doesn't really matter. So that's pretty much where I'm at today. I will be finishing up the work in the front end, at least as far as prepping the bay goes. It'll be clean tonight. I'm going to grind down those welds, and then having access now over there, especially, we can weld in some stuff. So we just have a couple spot welds in this corner, and now we're going to go ahead and weld it all the way up, and then we're going to weld it along the firewall right there. We just got a couple tacks, so we're going to clean it up nice, and we're also going to deburr this edge a little bit because it's something I didn't do. I might like make it round or like curve it in over here, kind of make like a nice little swoop so it's smooth and not going to rub or hit anything. And then we went ahead and closed the gap up back here, so we're going to go ahead and weld that up as well. Very excited with how this thing is coming out. Lots of work still to do, so stay tuned for the next video. I'm not 100% sure if I'm going to post another video on Monday. I might, with just an update with the bay primered and all that jazz. So we'll kind of see what's up, depending on how far we go. There might be a video of me boxing the upper control arms and doing the roadie fab kit. So we'll see. That's probably more realistic since it's something I want to work on while everything's blown apart. But that'll just depend on how much we get done in here tonight and tomorrow. So that in the evening I can go ahead and weld up and flip the upper control arms. Very excited. All this old steering stuff, trash, old brake parts, clutch parts, all garbage, all the lines, garbage. We're not going to need that. Then once we're done up here and the bay is prepped for paint, I'm happy with how everything looks. We're going to move back here, get these wheels off, go ahead and do the wheel studs back here, check the brakes, get the lines disconnected for the brake lines, drop the fuel tank, get the fuel out of it, and then I'm going to go ahead and order up the bushings for this 4-link kit. Just got to measure it, make sure that we're good to go. Prep the rear axle for the new shock mounts. So that'll also be fun. Just loads of cool, fun nonsense that we get to do. So I'm very, very excited about that. And with that being said, guys, I will catch you in the next one. I hope you guys have an awesome weekend. And keep watching the build progress. You know, I appreciate every single one of you watching. Tell your friends. If you got anybody who likes mini trucks and car stuff, you know, that'll be sweet. This channel is currently all about the mini truck. However, there will be other projects that come in once this is done. But this is definitely not like, oh, we have a project and then we're going to get another project and then, oh, we got one more coming. No, we're going to focus on one build at a time. And we're going to do them right, and then we'll move on to something else when we're done with this. Like I said, I got a deadline I'm trying to keep it. Oh, good news also, though. I did order the seals that go around the back windows. I couldn't find any from Nissan. However, there's a company in Taiwan that makes them. I found their eBay, and I was able to scoop them up for about $84. So I'm very excited about that. Brand new on each side. As soon as those arrive, I'm going to get those on the glass and, you know, make sure everything works well and fits. So thank you for watching. I appreciate it, and I will catch you guys in the next one.